Dean Ambrose returns to support Roman Reigns. WWE Raw March 10, 2026. WWE just brought back Dean Ambrose after 5 years away from the company, and if you think this is just a feel-good reunion story, you're not paying attention to what this really means. Dean Ambrose, now going by Jon Moxley everywhere else in wrestling, walked back into WWE, stood side by side with Roman Reigns on Raw, and just declared war on the entire roster in a moment that's either the most brilliant move WWE has made in years or the most desperate attempt to stop their ratings bleeding that will backfire spectacularly. This isn't just about nostalgia. This is about WWE admitting they need the past to save their future, and that admission should terrify everyone. Comment right now: is Dean Ambrose's return exactly what WWE needed, or is this a panic move that proves WWE can't create new stars? Because this decision has exposed WWE's biggest weakness, and there's no going back. Let me walk you through exactly what happened on Raw, because the way this return was executed reveals everything about WWE's current mindset. The show opened with Roman Reigns in the ring, and he looked broken. Not physically, Roman's always in incredible shape, but emotionally destroyed. This was post-WrestleMania Roman, post-Rock betrayal Roman, a man who just lost his championship and got stabbed in the back by his own family. The boos that used to follow Roman were replaced by something worse: pity. Roman cut a promo that was raw and real. He talked about building the bloodline from nothing. He talked about carrying WWE on his back for years. He talked about sacrificing everything: his body, his relationships, his peace of mind to be the guy. And how did WWE reward him? By having his own cousin turn on him at the biggest show of the year. Roman's voice was breaking. This wasn't character work. This felt like Roman Reigns the person bleeding through Roman Reigns the character. Then Roman said the words that changed everything: "I thought family meant something. I thought loyalty meant something. I was wrong." So if this company wants to see what Roman Reigns looks like with nothing left to lose, if they want to see what the tribal chief becomes when everyone betrays him, then you're all about to find out. But I'm not doing this alone anymore. I'm bringing back the only person I can trust. The only brother who never turned his back on me. The only man who understands what it means to be Shield. The crowd started buzzing. Could it be? After all these years? The familiar static hit. The music that WWE fans thought they'd never hear again started playing. Retaliation flashed on the screen. And Dean Ambrose, not Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose walked out onto that stage in full tactical gear, looking dangerous, looking hungry, looking like he never left. The place erupted. People were crying. Grown men were losing their minds. Dean Ambrose, the lunatic fringe, the titty master, the man who WWE failed and who went to AEW and became Jon Moxley and proved he was one of the best in the world without WWE. That man just walked back into WWE and stood next to Roman Reigns like the past 5 years never happened. They didn't hug. They didn't do a big emotional moment. They just stood there, side by side, staring at the hard camera with a look that said, "We're about to burn this place down." Here's why people are absolutely conflicted about this return, and the emotions are running in every direction. On one hand, Shield fans are experiencing pure joy. Dean and Roman back together? The brothers in arms reunited? The potential for Shield nostalgia and callbacks? This is everything that faction of fans have wanted since Dean left WWE in 2019. They don't care about the politics or the business implications, they just want to see their favorites together again. But on the other hand, hardcore wrestling fans are furious, and their anger is justified. Dean Ambrose left WWE because they misused him. They turned him heel in the worst way possible. They gave him a germaphobe gimmick. They refused to let him be the character he wanted to be. So he left, went to AEW, became Jon Moxley, and had the best run of his career: IWGP United States Champion, AEW World Champion, critically acclaimed matches, creative freedom. He proved he didn't need WWE. And now he's back? After everything WWE did to him? After he spent years talking about how much better his life was without WWE's restrictions? That feels like a betrayal of everything Moxley stood for. It feels like WWE opened their checkbook, threw enough money at him to ignore his principles, and he took it. That's not inspiring, that's selling out. Let's talk about what this means for AEW, because the implications are massive. Jon Moxley was one of AEW's founding pillars. He was there from day one. He gave AEW credibility. He main event their biggest shows. He put over their younger talent. And now he's gone, back to the company that treated him like garbage. How does AEW recover from losing one of their biggest stars? How do they spin this to their roster and fanbase? This is a huge blow to AEW's credibility and their ability to keep top talent. From WWE's perspective, this is a victory lap. They just took back one of AEW's top stars, proved that WWE is still the biggest stage in wrestling, and sent a message to every wrestler in AEW: you can have fun over there, but when you want to make real money and work in front of real crowds, you come back to WWE. That's the optics, whether it's fair or not. But here's the uncomfortable truth that WWE fans don't want to admit: this return proves WWE can't create new stars. Think about it. Roman Reigns has been the guy for 4 years. He's beaten everyone. He's had every opportunity to elevate the next generation. And when Roman needs backup, when Roman needs someone to stand beside him as an equal, WWE doesn't turn to anyone from the current roster. They bring back a guy who hasn't been in WWE since 2019. Where's Damian Priest standing next to Roman? Where's LA Knight? Where's Bronson Reed? Where's anyone from the current roster getting this spot? WWE looked at their entire active roster and decided none of them were good enough to be Roman's partner. That's not a flex, that's an admission of failure. It means WWE has spent the past 5 years not building stars who can operate at main event level, and now they're desperate enough to go backwards instead of forward. The Shield reunion, because let's be honest, that's where this is heading, is the ultimate safety blanket for WWE. They've gone back to the Shield well so many times. Every time business gets soft, every time they need a ratings boost, every time they're out of ideas, they reunite the Shield. It works every time because fans love it, but it also means WWE never has to do the hard work of creating something new. Let's break down what Dean Ambrose's character is going to be now that he's back, because this is critical. Is he the old Dean Ambrose, the wacky lunatic fringe who does comedy spots? Hell no. That character is dead, and bringing it back would be insulting. Is he Jon Moxley from AEW, the ultra-violent deathmatch wrestler who bleeds in every match? WWE won't let him be that either because of their PG restrictions. So who is Dean Ambrose in 2026 WWE? Based on his appearance on Raw, he's something new, a darker, more serious, more dangerous version of the character. No comedy. No lunatic antics. Just a man who's been to war, learned from the best wrestlers in the world outside WWE, and came back with one mission: help his brother destroy everyone who wronged him. That version of Dean? That's money. That's a character that can work. The Roman and Dean dynamic is fascinating because they're approaching this from opposite places. Roman is the wounded warrior who got betrayed and needs someone to trust. Dean is the returning mercenary who's here to cause chaos. Together, they're not trying to restore the bloodline, they're trying to build something new and more dangerous. Roman provides the strategy and the star power. Dean provides the unpredictability and the violence. That combination is lethal. But here's the question nobody is asking: where does Seth Rollins fit into this? Because you can't do Roman and Dean without eventually addressing Seth. The Shield was 3 men. Seth was the architect, the man who broke them up in the first place. Does Seth join this new alliance? Does he fight against it? Does he stand on the sidelines while his former brothers reunite without him? Every option creates drama, and WWE better have an answer. The most logical storyline is the full Shield reunion: Roman, Dean, and Seth coming back together to take over WWE completely. But that's also the safest and most predictable story. WWE has done Shield reunions multiple times. Fans know how it plays out. Is WWE creative enough to do something different this time, or are we just getting the same story we've seen before? Here's what WWE should do if they want this to be special instead of just nostalgic: have Dean and Roman be darker than the original Shield. Have them operate with no rules, no morals, no limits. The Shield was about justice. This new version should be about revenge. They're not here to protect anyone or fight authority, they're here to punish everyone who wronged Roman and destroy anyone who stands in their way. That's a fresh take on the partnership that doesn't just rehash old Shield stories. The matches this creates are incredible on paper. Dean and Roman versus Cody Rhodes and partner. Dean and Roman versus the Judgment Day. Dean and Roman versus whoever WWE wants to feed to them. These are all money matches that will draw. But WWE can't just have them win everything immediately. That makes the entire roster look weak. There needs to be struggle. There needs to be doubt. Otherwise this just becomes the Super Shield show and everyone else is irrelevant. Let's address the contract situation because this matters. How long did Dean sign for? Is this a 1-year deal? 3 years? 5 years? Is he full-time or part-time? The length in terms of his contract will determine how WWE can use him. If he's only here for a year, they need to tell a complete story quickly. If he's here for multiple years, they can slow burn this and build to something massive. There's also the very real possibility that Dean came back specifically to help get Roman over as a babyface again. Roman's been a heel for so long that fans forgot how to cheer him. Pairing him with the beloved Dean Ambrose could be WWE's way of rehabilitating Roman's image and transitioning him back to being the guy that fans actually support instead of just acknowledge. That's smart character work if that's the plan. But here's the cynical take that might be the truth: WWE is panicking. Their ratings have been declining. AEW is building momentum. They just lost Drew McIntyre. They're heading into a critical negotiation period for their next TV deal. They needed a big move to generate buzz and prove they're still the top company in wrestling. So they threw massive money at Dean Ambrose, convinced him to come back, and are using Shield nostalgia as a band-aid to cover up deeper creative problems. If that's what this is, it's a short-term fix that doesn't solve long-term issues. What I need from you, and this is absolutely critical, tell me in the comments if you're excited about Dean Ambrose being back in WWE, or if you think this is a mistake. Tell me if you believe Dean and Roman can create something new or if this is just recycled Shield nostalgia. And tell me honestly, does this return make WWE look strong or desperate? Like this video if you're happy Dean Ambrose is back regardless of the circumstances. Share it if you think WWE is relying too much on nostalgia instead of building new stars. Subscribe if you want me tracking every development in this story, where Dean and Roman go next, if Seth gets involved, and whether this reunion lives up to the hype or becomes another wasted opportunity. Dean Ambrose is back in WWE after 5 years. Roman Reigns has his brother by his side again. And WWE just made the biggest splash they've made all year. But is this the beginning of something legendary? Or is this WWE admitting they can't survive without recycling their past? The next few weeks will tell us everything we need to know. The lunatic fringe returned. The tribal chief has his enforcer. And the WWE landscape just got infinitely more dangerous. Now we see if WWE has the creativity to make this more than just a nostalgia pop, or if they're just doing the same old Shield playbook one more time.